Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and today I'm wrapping up the Nightmare on Elm Street reviews. Last time I talked about Wes Craven's New Nightmare, a film I really enjoy. And I reviewed this film before, but I know there was a guy asking me about it. Even though I've reviewed this film when I reviewed all the Friday the 13th films, and all those reviews are still up on my channel, just type in the name of the movie, or go to my horror movie franchise playlist, and you'll find it there. So, of course, that's Freddy vs. Jason. Now, again, I've already reviewed this film. A review for this film is up on the channel. But I figure why not, for chronological sake, I'll talk about the film again. Now, of course, this is the 2 disc, which, they did a good job with this DVD. It definitely has a lot of features. And even the presentation, the disc themselves, they all look nice. One's Freddy, one's Jason. Film came out around 2003, which, fuck, it was 10 years ago. Wow. And I remember seeing this in theaters. I remember being very hyped about it, being very excited about it. Because, like, oh my god, they actually made this film. This film is actually reality. And in that case, I have fun with the film. I do like the film. I had fun with the film. But I will admit, though, I don't love the film as much as I did 10 years ago when I first saw it in the theater. I've lost a bit of love for the film. I still like the film, but I would say I like a lot of the other films, either in the Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street series more. Um, I like the film, but I think this film has a lot of problems. But I will say this is, I think, better than. It's not the best, but it's better than. It could have been worse, is what I'm getting at. Because all the different story ideas that they had all these years. I swear, there was a fucking Law and Order version where, like, Jason was on trial, but yet I don't think it really was Jason, but yet it was a guy who they based Jason on, or something like that. Like, they based the Jason character on this guy, then somehow Freddy was involved, and it was Jason was on trial, and it was a fucking Law and Order episode. There was one where I think it was like a bunch of kids looking for like the Holy Grail or something in a fucking building, and then for some reason Freddy and Jason are there, and they need the Holy Grail and shit, or what the fuck it was. Like, is Indiana Jones gonna pop up? He fought aliens. Is he gonna fight Freddy and Jason next? Uh, I know one that they kept harping on was the Freddy cult. There was a cult of like Fred heads, as they call themselves, and like this girl, her boyfriend was killed, and she threw her boyfriend's heart into Crystal Lake. So Jason popped up. I guess went after the cult or went after this and that. I don't know. Then I know there was one where a girl was trapped in a house, and Freddy was trying to get her, but like Jason was her protector. There's a lot of ideas, and I'm like, what the fuck were they smoking with these ideas? A Freddy cult? A Fred heads and looking for the Holy Grail and shit? Like, I gotta give credit where credit's due. I mean, I'm sorry. I thought the writers, Damien Shay and Mark Swift, I think they came up with the best idea you could to put these two together. Because it's simple, it's straightforward, and it's not as ridiculous as those other ones. This does take place after Freddy's Dead the Final Nightmare and after Jason Goes to Hell, where Freddy's sort of in this purgatory where they can't remember him, so he can't do anything. He can't do anything if they won't remember him, which is kind of a motif for the first film where Nance is like, I take away my power that I gave to you. So he has no power. In order to get power, he needs to have people afraid again. So he gets Jason. He gets Jason back from the grave, which he was dead. Jason goes to hell. Brings him back, and let him remember what fear tastes like. So Jason starts killing, but then the cops, of course, is like, "Wow, we found a person dead in their sleep, well, dead in their bed, I should say. When was the last time this happened? It was Freddy." Person overhears it. They start thinking Freddy, Freddy, and then Freddy starts appearing in dreams. Just she tells one person, two tells four, so on and so forth. But then Jason starts poaching on his turf, so then Freddy has to fight Jason, and then you get to the end of the movie. And I thought that idea was good enough for a Freddy vs. Jason film. That story is good enough. And they mention like Hypnosil drug, which was in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. They have a little montage of Freddy killing Freddy doing stuff at the beginning of the film. It made sense. I mean, well, I don't know about it makes sense, but it was the best idea you could have for a film. So the story, I give it a plus because with all the other shit they could have gone, you could have had a movie where they fight in a mall. Which I don't know, I'm kind of curious about that, but you could have had where Jason's on fucking trial. You could have had where it's a bunch of kids in a building, tenement, wherever, and looking for a holy grail. Or Jason be protecting some girl in some house. Could have been that. Other credit I'll give is Robert Englund. I think Robert Englund does a really good job as Freddy. This is much more back to a darker Freddy. Still has some jokes, but performance-wise, look-wise, it's definitely a darker Freddy than Part 5 or 6. Maybe even more than Part 4. I mean, the look of Freddy, at times he had these very sharp teeth. And I thought Robert Englund did a bang-up job. Robert Englund, this is the final time he's Freddy Krueger. This is the absolute final time. I thought Robert Englund did a really good job. He's a definite plus of the movie. I think Robert Englund, again, it's the last time you don't see him in the role. He did a great job. I thought some of the kills were fun. I mean, the bed death scene where the kid gets stabbed to shit and then Jason rolls the guy up like that. Thought that was fun. There's one guy who gets cut in half. I like the effect of that. Let's see. When they're in the cornfield and Jason stabs this guy and then flings him off. I thought that was pretty fun. So I liked some of the kills. I liked the look of the film, which I know some people don't care for the look. I know my friend Mike OCP doesn't care for the look, but I like the look of the film. I thought the film, it looked like it had a budget. It looked slick is the word I'll use. I like the usage of colors. Especially, I love the use of red when it's in Freddy's boiler room. I love the use of red. I thought it was really, even the rest of the film, I think it looks like it's a good-looking film. It's a slick-looking film. With the camera angles, camera movements. I thought, okay, this film, they at least took a little effort into the look of the film, it wasn't just a cut and paste job. It wasn't just, okay, set the camera, shoot, let's move on. And I like that. I appreciate that. So I thought the look of the film was pretty good. I liked the fight scene between Freddy and Jason. I thought it was a fight scene that was fun. I mean, I can definitely say I like this film more than AVP flicks. I can definitely say that. Like when I saw Alien vs Predator, as my friend called it, assholes versus penises, that was a disappointment. Of course, being PG-13 didn't help either, but that was a disappointment. The fight scenes were disappointing. Here, I thought the fight between Freddy and Jason was fun. You know, in the dream world, Jason cuts Freddy's arms, but then Freddy's fucking up Jason. In the real world, Jason takes Freddy and sort of the House of Pain, sort of just drives him through wall after wall after wall, and throws his ass in the air. And then Freddy's using these things to, like rockets, and hitting Jason. And then it gets bloody where they're both just hacking each other to pieces, and Freddy gouges Jason's eyes, but then Jason punches a hole through Freddy and tears his arm off. I'm like, wow, this is getting really bloody, and I appreciate that. So I thought, you know, the fact is, like, I never thought I would ever see the day that this film would ever get made. Like, this is one of those films I thought, well, it never got made. It will never get made, and it did. And I liked the fight at the end. I liked Robert Englund. I liked the slick look. I liked some of the kills. I mean, I thought the story that they picked for it was good enough for Freddy. Like, the story did not piss me off, except one part, which even the writers said that wasn't really what they were going for. But which, let me get to the negatives. Let me get to the stuff I did not like. Jason. I think the best way you could say about this film is it's a good Freddy film, but it's not the best Jason film. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Freddy, granted, Jason gets all the kills, because Freddy kills one person. But I don't know, it's Robert Englund back as Freddy. Performance-wise, he does a really good job. He's still the guy pulling the strings. He's the guy manipulating everything. And again, Robert Englund. And Freddy, during the fight, does better than Jason. Because in the real world, like, Jason gets, like, what, one thing? Cuts his arms off? But then Freddy's like, whatever. Pops his arms back on. Uh, he punches Jason, kicks Jason, throws a machete at Jason, puts him in there, then bounces him off like a pinball, which I didn't care for that scene. Bounces him off like a pinball, and then drops his fucking thing on Jason. Then Jason just throws him, and they're ready to fight, and then I'm like, wow, Freddy really kicked Jason's ass. Jason didn't get to do much in the dream world. I know it's Freddy's world, but still. And then the whole thing was just fucking stupid. I hate this part. I really do. I understand it's supposed to... Well, Jason drowned, so that's what it's supposed to represent, where this water's falling, and Freddy's like, ah, and Jason gets scared and turns to a fucking boy. Like, they took those from Jason Takes Manhattan's ending. Turns to a fucking boy, and then goes into his dreams or whatever. And I'm like, is that a Crystal Lake? And I hated that idea. Because Jason's not afraid of water. In other Friday the 13th films, he walked into the fucking lake. In Friday the 13th Part 6, he walked into the lake and to get to Tommy Jarvis. And the writers of the film even admit that. I remember at least on Never Sleep Again documentary, they said, yeah, we know that. And they even mentioned what I talked about, that, even Jason went to the water. And he killed people in the water. He dragged one girl to her death, and another he stabbed when she was on this raft from underneath. It just... I know it's supposed to represent him, oh, he doesn't like drowning, but that doesn't make sense because all the other times he never drowned. I mean, he did... That wasn't what I meant. He did drown at the beginning, but all the other... You just say that he didn't drown, they thought he drowned. Because in the first 4 films, he was human. He survived because he's a lucky fuck. I don't know. I don't know the story. I thought the idea was he didn't... Did he die? Or did they think he died, but then he was human for the first couple films until he became a zombie by Part 6? I don't know. Maybe it's just a hard man to die. He's a mongoloid. I don't fucking know. But that's not the point. The point is, the whole thing, even if it's supposed to be drowning, is a stupid idea. It looks like shit. I like Freddy, but I also like Jason. Come on now. And then him turn to a fucking crying boy so Freddy can fuck him up is, I think, kind of shitty. What I would have done is that Freddy is trying, like, you think that works. Freddy thinks he found it, but then he's wrong. Like, if this is going to be the ultimate match between the ultimate foes, Freddy should beat up with the one guy who has no nightmares. And that's Jason Voorhees. So he's trying all these things. He's trying physical and he's trying mental. And no matter what he does, Jason will not... He's not going to put up. He's going to make you shut up. That's, I think, would have been better. That he thinks he found it, but then Jason surprises his ass and starts trying to hack him to shit. And I like the line that he says, why won't you die? But Jason barely does anything. Hell, Alice in Part 4 was able to fight Freddy more in the dream world than Jason. I love Alice from Part 4, but the fact that she'd have more hits than Jason did in the dream world is kind of ridiculous. Don't have this whole bullshit of, oh, we don't get into his nightmare. We don't give a fuck about that. I'm sorry, that's not interesting. What's better is that, oh, he met the one guy who has no nightmares, who you can't get into his head. He's got nothing in it. Other than to kill your ass and, shish about it. So I think that you had that Freddy's doing all he can, and he's fucked up Jason up mentally, physically, but he just can't do anything. And that's what Jason is. He's an unstoppable killing machine that won't stop. And that's who Freddy should have fucked with. But they went on this tangent. I thought it was the wrong move. I thought it was the wrong move, and it made Jason look ridiculous. And also, I don't care for the actor playing Jason, Ken Kirzinger. Maybe it's not his fault. It's the fact that it looks like the mask doesn't fit. It looks like... I hate the fucking black soot in the back of his head. I hate that they went the Frankenstein monster route where just... And not bringing back Kane Hodder. And everyone blames everybody. Ronny Yu says that the studios did not want Kane Hodder. Then you have this who the fuck was this bitch? There's this bitch. I don't call her a bitch. Stokely Chaffin. This bitch. Oh yeah, she produced I Know What You Did Last Summer. She's like, no, I don't want Kane Hodder. He's too chunky. So is your face. Now put a dick in it and smile. Bitch. I'm sorry, man. He's too chunky. So's my dick in your mouth. Stokely. Fucking blonde bitch. Okay, if you don't give a fuck who's in the mask, okay, you don't give a fuck. Then just put in Kane Hodder. If you do give a fuck about the who's in the mask, more than likely you don't pick Kane Hodder. So pick Kane Hodder. In other words, pick Kane Hodder! Kane Hodder should have been Jason. This Jason should have been in Freddy vs. Jason from Part 7, The New Blood. Can you imagine that? That Jason, Part 7, The New Blood, the one who's pissed off and ready to rip your fucking throat out? That Jason versus Freddy. I think that would have been cool, them mano a mano looking at each other. No, they want a guy, David and Goliath. This ain't the fucking David Goliath cartoon. Although a lot of the movie is like a cartoon, which I don't know about that. I mean, I agree with that. That's what the movie is, but I don't know if that's the direction they should have taken. I know the writers even said that it got too goofy and campy for them, and I can understand what they mean by that. But yeah, the Jason, like the Freddy aspect I like. I love Robert Englund's performance. His scenes when he's terrorizing the girl in the boiler room I like. But Jason, I don't like his look in the film. It's honestly my least favorite look. I know people say Jason Goes to Hell, but I'd rather have that than this fucking Frankenstein monster wannabe. And he never moved like a Frankenstein monster. That's the thing. Kane Hodder never moved like the Frankenstein monster. He would turn, and he has a heavy breathing like he's pissed off. He'd turn and then go towards you. The closest maybe was Part 6. Maybe that. Maybe that. But in the first 4 films, he's not like that. Well, he's not in the first film, except a little kid. But Part 2, even with the fucking bag over his head, he's running, he's, fast. In Part 2, 3, and 4, he's fast. Part 5 wasn't Jason. Part 6, okay, he's a zombie. But Part 7 and Part 8, he's breathing heavy and he's looking, and the mask actually fits his fucking face correctly. And the eyes aren't so goddamn big, you're ready to see his fucking nose, you go a little in depth. It just, the way they did Jason, it was disappointing. They should have had Kane Hodder's Jason. I think they should have had this Jason from Part 7, to be honest. So that was shitty. Not using Kane Hodder, and then people blame Ronny Yu, then Ronny Yu saying it's other people, then you even have like someone said that, oh yeah, Stokely, the producer bitch, said that Kay was too chunky. Honestly, you know what? I think it was the studios. Here's my idea. I think Ronny Yu, he didn't know much about Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. He saw like the first or film or such. So they told him what to do. He's like, okay. I really think that's the case. That they said, we're not using Kane. And he's like, oh, okay, you guys are the studio. Okay. Let's look. Okay, let's do, if we can't use that, okay, we'll do a Freddy side type monster thing. I think New Line did it because that bitch said, oh, he's too chunky. And also because he's Canadian. Ken Kirzinger is Canadian. So they probably get some brownie points since they're shooting in Canada. Or some shit or some fat, I don't know. But I don't care what it is, it's bullshit. Bullshit. So that's a big problem. Jason's a big problem. Him being afraid of water or drowning or however the fuck you want to interpret it is stupid. Should have had that he's not afraid of anything. So that way it'd be a more interesting fight in the dream world instead of Freddy kicking his ass 90% of the time. Because even when he gets to the real world, Freddy seems like he kissed Jason's ass more. Because there's a lot of Jason missing. I mean, he pushes Freddy and throws him through the roof. Like he throws him, he falls through a roof of a building. But then Freddy kicks his ass more. Jason's missing. Freddy's hacking the bits. Jason's missing. Freddy using these torpedo-like things to hit Jason. Jason's missing, and Freddy hits all these these rods that impale him. Jason's missing, and Freddy unleashes this thing that bumps into him. It's like Jason missing, but Freddy's getting hits on him. Even when they get to the final, like Jason hits him a couple times, but then Freddy cuts off his fingers, Jason's fingers, gouges Jason's eyes, has Jason a lot more. So even in the real world, it's like they're giving Freddy more to do. I think because this is New Line Cinema, the house that Freddy built. So they were more lenient to Freddy and Robert Englund, and not to Jason. Because Freddy gets more hits on Jason in the real world. Freddy definitely gets more hits on Jason in the dream world. Jason's made as a pussy. Oh, I'm crying. I'm a little boy now. Freddy, don't hit me. That was bullshit. So they handled Jason really shit like. And then the cast in this is the. Well, no. I would say the Elm Street remake is the worst cast. Dude, this is the second worst cast of either franchise. Yes. I think the cast in Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child, are better than this cast. I mean, what you got? You got Monica Keena, a girl who cannot act her way out of her paper bag in a fucking snowstorm. Freddy died by fire, Jason by water. How can we use that? No, it's not. No, it's gotta be like this close, like Freddy died by fire, Jason by water. How do we use that? Jesus Christ, Monica Keena. Yeah, she's nice to look at. She's got nice titties. They shut up and do a porno. But she sucked as an actress. She was a horrible actress. I did not care for her character. I wanted her to die. She was piss poor acting. She couldn't act away through a goddamn TV show or a fucking sitcom, let alone a movie. I'm sorry, when you have a franchise that had Amy Steele, Adrian Keene, Heather Langenkamp, Lisa Wilcox, Patricia Arquette, this girl sucked. Kelly Rowland, great, let's get a rapper in there. Well, not really a rapper, but thought of Busta Rhymes. But I mean, like fucking Busta Rhymes better than these fucking people. Kelly Rowland was just, oh, okay, she's in Destiny's Child. Let's just put her in there. Jason Ritter, I'm sorry, this guy does not have his father's talent. First off, I'm so sad that John Ritter's gone. I really miss him. His son can't act. There's every fucking scene. He's smiling. He has this. Even when he's sad, he's like, I found your mom dead. I think Freddy's gonna kill us. So why are you always smiling? Even when he's sad, it's like, are you okay? He's always smiling. This guy cannot stop smiling. Even when he's sad, he smiles. Even when he's mad, he smiles. Every fucking time he smiles, like, this guy was so fucking horrible. I think that was the role that Brad Renfro was going to play, but then I think because of his drug problem, they didn't let him go. The rest of the cast just sucks. The girl from Ginger Snaps, didn't give a fuck about her. Didn't give a fuck about anybody in this film except Robert Englund. Robert Englund to me has the only good performance in this movie. I didn't care for the fucking. There's the stoner guy who's the non-Jason Mewes. We're gonna make a fun bit of that and never sleep again. They what the hell is it? The scene where he gets possessed because Freddy's this fucking CGI caterpillar that goes in his mouth. I hate that scene. I hate that. Lo and behold, that's the scene where a guy gets possessed. But oh, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 is so bad because Freddy possesses Jesse and then infects shit in the real world. Well, infects, but what does he do here? He possesses someone so that guy can go around the real world. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 is so bad. And then tranquilizes Jason where you're like, really? Jason's dead. Would tranquilizers work? Bullets don't keep him down. Friday the 13th Part 6. The cop keeps shooting him in the chest. He doesn't stay down. He just keeps getting up. Would tranquilizers work? Well, how else would you? I don't know, but tranquilizers? Would they really work? I, I don't know. Hmm. But yeah, I know I'm going for about a half hour, so I better wrap this up. Now, I mean, I like some of the kills. I like Robert Englund. I like the film is slickly made. I thought it looked like they had a budget behind it. When a big part of Crystal Lake gets blown up at the end. I like some of the stuff in the fight scenes. It was well shot, well edited. You have some fun stuff in the fight scene between Freddy and Jason. The fact that you actually got to see it happen was cool. I like the. Uh, I like some of that aspect of it, but it does have a lot of problems. This is why I sort of have. I still like the film, but I don't love it as much as I did 10 years ago because the cast is atrocious. It's pathetic and atrocious. It's atrocious. The You don't go for this for acting. I'm sorry. The acting in the other films are better. Tom Matthews in Friday the 13th Part 6 is better. Way better. The other casts are better. I'm sorry. This cast is horrendous. The Jason, how they handled Jason was pathetic. It really seemed like, hey, we're Team Freddy here at New Line. Let's not put Kane hotter. Let's make Jason look like shit. Let's have him be afraid and turn to a little boy like a bitch in the dream world. Because he's afraid of drowning. How about have him not be afraid of anything? Which that's the ultimate villain for Freddy. The scene to his dream world was not interesting. But anyway, that's all I got. I mean, This has a commentary of Ronny Yu, Robert Englund, Ken Kirzinger in Disc 1. Disc 2 has some delay and alternate scenes. Behind the scenes coverage of the film's development, visual effects exploration, trailer, TV spots, music video, and more. Well, that's another thing. I did not care for the score in this film. Who did the music? Graham Revell. I thought Graham Revell did a shitty job in the score department. I'm sorry. I thought Graham Revell sucked in this movie. His score was insanely forgettable. And then the songs, there's maybe 2 or so songs I liked. The rest I didn't care for. But anyway, that's my review on Freddy vs. Jason. Thanks for watching. Take care. I do wish that they would have done a sequel, but I know Sam Raimi and them didn't want them to use Ash. But do a sequel, bring Kane back, put Ash in there with Bruce Campbell, and that would have been cool. But you know, what the fuck do I know? I also remember hearing there's this asshole. Is he on this? Some asshole named Jeff Katz. And maybe he was the reason why Kane Hodder wasn't hired. Jeff Katz. He's not on the credits, but I remember hearing that fucker's name. Guy sounds like a dumbass. So Jeff Katz, dumbass. But anyway, I guess that's the way to end it on. But thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later.